Today is day 2, November 2022, Rio de Janeiro City, Rio de Janeiro Federative Unit, Brazil. We will kind of make our movement today, quite simple, quite clear, reporting. We are launching the new effort, the Risk Report 2022, trace november.blogspot.com. October is closed, so we kicked this new one. It's the same idea. We are reporting, but now things that you report since at least 10 years ago with no support. All against, you can put yourself as a victim doing everything against this, which is the side of the victims. Exposing treasons of state power, which goes by very specific checks using the state power, and having confirmed proofs about conspiracy crimes through Western democratic system and electoral procedures, which goes even in a situation that's not a democracy. Can be inside the board group of your company, the investor group to pick a new board member or a new CEO, whatever, or the contract that you decide to have inside your company with a lot of scams on it, Operation Third Wind. It's all about these overpriced contracts, carrying a lot of issues on it, and electoral procedure. Fake record has a large range of scams, but a single operative pattern, quite simple to get if you have then inside your contract the side A, the side B, and inside the contract you have the third interest, not A, capital letter, not B, capital letter, as a small and very little fragment, which is the combination by failure sides A and B is small letter, setting the C, which is small letter, isn't a capital letter, isn't. For instance, if I decide to do the investment on Africa, to develop Africa, and then you transfer the money to UK, you broke the contract, my friend. I'm sorry, refund police. And so with the contracts. Then we will check that this helps to unveil C as third interest by relational failure inside a connection between two different sides. These failures inside, it's not an interconnection yet until you have the connection, for instance, with the D, the A, the J, wherever. Then you have the interconnection as failure AB inside the contract with other interests that not belong to the contract, not even as a third interest. Promiscuous for sure. And this will bring the speech that you have on the United Nations and all macro organization as globalism and localism. And we will have that we are reporting the effort made to the antitrust justice considering organization of system by methods OSM existence pandemic, and we have a proof that the pandemic movement exists and the trending oriented by failure. Having this as the interconnection involving all areas, of course that we have segmented the clusterization and the root of the guiltiness as institutional guilt. US COBOL have you all. It's on blog, the unique post. You take a look, you get the point, you get your situation. Measure of pandemic crime by integration, all crime system formed by all failure or blind eye about the failures inside each system. In general, trending -1 was optimized to haunt this. Indeed, it's doing, and very well. Measure pandemic integrational crimes oriented. Measure pandemic oriented by routers. -1, premise of systemic crime integrated with interaction of all systemic crimes integrated, forming the pandemic crime by specific heads with domain or influence on macro organization, international crime, both. Take a look. Economic and financial control, financial research, security plan, OSM, antitrust justice, comparative global events, artists, and all things that you'd like to put in a schedule in a global situation as distribution, with in general go by A and B, with head distribution as third interest, and many other has promiscuous set a multi-level. If it's transferring money, it's illegal money transferred by overpriced contracts using the stars, or the person at the contract, indeed you are forming a Ponzi scam. Negative one, trending oriented and haunted down. Comparative global systemic risk, it's codified, the judicial system is on it. The judicial system indeed is the judicial power by silence reason the judicial premise as activity which is serve the state power and apply the state power through the judicial system as ambition to do the punishment against the crimes failures in general guide that are by someone that has tolerance, protection and protects, acting as an interface, knows who they or it is protected as institution or person, could be a chair, or who is give this protection. In general, the protection go by corruption or nepotism. The comparative global, one more time questioning, are all judges really equals? Are you all submissive when you face the transnational organized crime it's not the transnational organized crime as itself, but the mobilization as transnational organized crime to set the systemic crime, and this is not the mafia. And then you will obtain the plea bargain by showbiz, using representative of your big star, your sports player, wherever they all as representative might be on antitrust justice to be under contractual review offering the plea bargain, and if you have relevant information which indeed will be an asset as intelligence against the organized crime, apply it as organized crime method applied to do the mobilization of this pandemic crime, threatening we all for sure equally victims but not equally victimized. And the antitrust justice will check the contract, do the review, apply the refund as police all values illicit obtained by the stars at the contracts, and considering all multi-level Ponzi scam associated with will have zero because it's illegal, and the scam will have a collapse, a nervous breakdown, and guess what? The creditors will charge you. They have nothing with this. Only will receive the money if they have no idea that the money is illegal. They can turn the entire thing in to the antitrust justice by themselves or using the representatives, breaking the scam, a Ponzi scam, and have all heads or chairs or core chairs at the multi-level scam having a nervous breakdown or a big collapse. And we will have the judicial privilege to avoid prison or the financial penalty, because both are punishment applied by different purpose, and you will probably suffer only one or have a less impact as punishment. Kind of do not send to jail and have a minor or insignificant payment as financial penalty since you give a really relevant asset as information. Creditors committee, we are charging 37 trillion plus 6 billion. Consider the research on it, and it's the creditors committee having the words as by equity or others we do. It's an independent research. You take a look at the blog, please. Risk Report 2022, 3 November.blogspot.com. You check there that we are having things reported a bit more organized, It's the progress made on our financial research and other issues to the antitrust justice, the general outlook, the security forum kicked from public budget Brazil, South America, considering a specific period, at least since 1988, with problems, a mental disease for sure, which is commit crimes, use instruments of control, security plan for the issue number 2 as topic. From specific hands and peers qualified by records, covered and protected by obstruction and order. We take the obstruction, we get the scam, like the iceberg. Security plan from inner fail as interaction through institutional pattern, hootering, -1, and pattern is A, B, third interest, and then ABC not third interest, but still on the demand of the contract. And then we have a working breakdown structure. As you can observe, it's a project. Take a look on PMI as PM book, and then you get the point. Risk report November 2022, security plan 2022 up 2028. We have doing a lot of things before. See against problem since 1920 as cut, and another one in 1988. Interval notation, you got the point, measurement, relation, behavior, collinear association. Then you have the comparative measurement between the judicial system and the pandemic crime, observing if you have a relation. For sure we do, by silence. It can be submissive, corrupted, or submission, which is the collinear movement. You are corrupted, you are under the submission. Indeed, you are not having the total submissive behavior, but you are under some kind of suppression, I would say. And then you have not submissive, which is facing the problem, and then having the application of the law, which is a guarantee. The framework as general outlook, Western V models, oriented program, business code, and protocols of reciprocity, considering the nemesis business, which indeed is switch things that you do against the law enforcement, for instance, or the creditors committee against you. And you have issues there. The second, it's the security plan, right of the security plan, the right of judicial part to do the punishment, and the guarantee of offenders at the trial, since they achieve the trial, to be punished by law and inside the legal limits. Same thing, take a look. And then we have briefing the case, this model here, which is a relevant model. If you take a look at this, you will observe that we have one target in the middle, considering 3 different areas, and we must have this on mind, which is the preparation as globalism. You must have something common in all areas. As you can observe, this thing here is your target -1. After have the globalism, which indeed is something that goes in all areas as corruption, and the corruption of contracts, putting others through nepotism. Indeed, you have the common element in all areas is spread in each one of those areas, setting clusters or small structures, then you integrated all and form the pandemic crime. But my friend, I must advise you that you have a security plan to put you all inside. It's oriented through this value, -1 as the most promiscuous value. Security plan, item number 3, an intellectual asset with application on scheduled events. The cross-cut, take a look at the instruction. The item 3.6 is exactly this idea that you are having here. When you set this area here in the middle, which is the most promiscuous area, this situation here is the -1. Here you have the neoliberalism period broken the border of the countries. Then you have the interaction at this moment here. This situation in blue, indeed you put it in all areas, and you consider that can link all this, forming some kind of pandemic activity. And then you will boost this one more time, observing this pattern as fractal behavior, and you probably will consider that you will get the entire global system by the pandemic crime could be your local disease as parasites, virus, bacteria, or whatever, sexual disease, after have the events in our area like FIFA, Olympics, and all these promiscuous things by parties, by artists, by a lot of things that is sponsoring the disgrace of mankind, especially by payments on contract. Now they will do the refund. You will now have these redistributed in other areas, and with gaps at nutritional values, of course that the disgrace is set, but not anymore. You have the advice. Values are qualified and codified by law. The silence is a crime, and it's a crime perpetrated once in a while by the judicial power that have the case, all situation to apply the lie, and remains in silence. Have a great week. This is the Creditors Committee as amicus curiae.